we all have our own opinion on the grade that the Ravens received for round one. There really can be no doubt that they got two guys who project as really good football players. Whether we think it's a plus, a B plus, if you think it's less than a B minus, I'm not sure what to tell you. But in any case, we're all justified in having our own opinion and where we think the Ravens round one picks fall. I think it is obvious that at this point the Ravens are trying to get as much value as possible out of the first round. Three times dating back to 2018, we've drafted two first-round picks. Of course, Hayden Hurst and Lamar Jackson in 2018. Last year, Rashad Bateman and Odafe Oweh. And then this year, Kyle Hamilton and Tyler Linderbaum. Six really good football players. Of course, one generational football player there in Lamar. And we hope the last four turn out to be all-pro type players in their own right. I'm not sure how the NFL draft could get more exciting or more crazy. Maybe there's a better word than crazy, chaotic. Certainly there will be some trades, but I'm hoping that it settles, because I project that there's going to be some pretty damn good football players available for the Ravens at 45 and 76. Of course, we traded away 100 in the Marquise Brown trade. Look, let's start at receiver. There's been some clamoring online, and I can't blame those people. I was one of the people talking about Drake London at 14. There's some good receivers out there. George Pickens, Alec Pierce, Jalen Torbert. I mean, those guys can play. Obviously, Pickens being the guy with the most probably pure talent and size and athleticism. Alec Pierce, quite refined and a versatile guy. My thought would be, if either of those two guys is there at 45, they may not be there at 76. So as crazy as this sounds, we may see the Ravens go receiver at 45 and then trade back into the second round to get somebody like Pascal Bonito. Now, all that changes, if you ask me, if Arnold Ebiketie is there at 45, which I do not believe he will be. I think he'll be one of the first three or four guys off the board in the second round. But look, there is so much talent still available. First round talent. Now, you can debate whether some of these guys are top 10 or 15 picks, but in terms of talent, Malik Willis, Nakobe Dean, Breece Hall, Arnold Ebiketie, who I already mentioned, Christian Watson, those guys are first-round talents. David Ojabo, first-round talent. Trey McBride, the number one tight end in this draft, is still out there. And I think where this draft has gone for the Ravens, think of it like a flow chart, where the top of the flow chart is round one, pick one. And Trayvon Walker goes to the Jags. Round two, or pick two, Aiden Hutchinson. That's the top of the flow chart. As it continues to develop from top down, there's multiple branches in how it could end. Now, it's not over yet, but how it ended last night was the Ravens picking Kyle Hamilton, the safety who dropped really far in the draft, at 14, and then trading back for Tyler Linderbaum at 23, or actually 25 as it ended up after the trade with the Bills. My point is, I think it's possible the Ravens were going after Jamison Williams at 14. I really do. I know that the general man, I know that Harbaugh and other guys are not going to say such things. I think it's possible they were doing that. And it could not be announced, because then that would give away their intentions. And if it gives away their intentions, then that affects the board, if you ask me, because now people are going to jump in front of us. Do I think the Ravens take Jordan Davis if the Eagles don't jump in front of them last night? Yes, I do, because of the way the board fell. I'm offering to you that I think it's entirely possible the Ravens were going receiver at 14 and then trading back in at 23 for whoever the best player was available, whether it was Tyler Linderbaum, if a guy like Jordan Davis fell, maybe if Kyle Hamilton had fell to 23 in some crazy situation. You can tell me if you think that that's a ridiculous theory of mine. I think there's some evidence there that the Ravens were hiding their intentions, obviously to gain back as much value as possible in the trade with the Cardinals. And credit to Marquise Brown and Eric DeCosta and all the Ravens people and personnel who had knowledge of that situation. But I also offer that it's possible they kept things quiet because they didn't want to give away their intentions of going receiver at 14. And I might be wrong. Let me know what you think of that in the comments section. And so moving from that, me personally, I don't have any complaint about the Ravens trading away Marquise Brown, because I think they were trying to address that need at 14 or maybe 23, but there's probably nobody at 23 that is great value compared to Tyler Linderbaum in terms of a receiver. There's going to be great value for a receiver at 45, no question about it. Christian Watson could still be there as well. I'm not sure if I mentioned him earlier. So moving from that thought, I think it's possible the Ravens go receiver at 45 and then try to trade back into the second round to get a Pascal, Benito, someone like that. There's multiple other good football players out there at different positions. Andrew Booth is still there at corner, which is Kyler Gordon is still there at corner. Travis Jones, the D tackle, is still there. I think Logan Hall, that's two defensive linemen that are incredibly talented. Kenneth Walker, Michigan State. Man, if this was 10 or 15 years ago, I think Kenneth Walker's off the board in the first round. I think he's that good. Watch him against Michigan's defense, and you tell me what you think. Quarterback still out there, Desmond Ridder, Matt Corral. Obviously, they're not going to the Ravens. We got no interest in a quarterback. There is first-round talent still available, and so that's why, for me, it's difficult for me to hear negative evaluations of us getting two premier talents in the first round while there's still first round talent out there to grab, and we're sitting there at 45, so we're going to be drafting quickly in round 2. That's why it's difficult for me to understand those things. But, on the other side of that coin, I get it. Marquise Brown was a productive player and did some great things for us. Bottom line, he wanted to go. He wanted to go play in a spread system or air raid system. And I'm glad he gets the chance to do that in Arizona. We'll see how it works out with him and Kyler Murray and Hopkins. And I think we got tremendous value in return. I fully expect the Ravens to play round 2 and 3, like a virtuoso performance again, just like they did in round 1 last night. I'm not sure about you, but I hardly slept. I think maybe 4.5 hours of sleep. Did get a chance to watch some Tyler Lindenbaum film. Was extremely impressed, but cannot make any grand statements at this point in time. If I do get the time to do a film study on Tyler Lindenbaum before the draft tonight, I'll obviously put up a quick video on Twitter. I'm not going to put that on my YouTube. Let me know what you guys think about the Ravens' needs as it stands right now, because I have another thought that's going to be difficult to hear, to be honest with you. The Ravens may be faced with a very difficult choice at 45, similar to what we could have faced at 14. Let's say Jameson Williams, Jordan Davis, Kyle Hamilton, Jermaine Johnson were all there at 14. How would the Ravens have made their select? Who would they have picked in that scenario? I offer to you that they may have been prepared to take Jameson Williams, and I understand that that's probably not a popular opinion. I think they're in a similar situation at 45, and here's the names I will mention. Arnold Ebiketie probably won't be there at 45. I understand that. The number 1 tight end in this draft might be there at 45, Trey McBride. David Ojabo, an obvious top 20, top 25 talent, may be there at 45 at the same time. Christian Watson could be there at the same time. Nakobe Dean, someone that me personally, I would not advocate for drafting, but that doesn't mean that I don't recognize that he's a hell of a football player. So there's going to be a difficult choice at 45, whereby there's so many good players. Travis Jones, there's so many good players available that the Ravens are kind of like blessed no matter who they pick. But if you wanted to take a negative perspective, you could say you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because you're going to pass on a really good football player. I'm impressed with what's been done so far. The complaints about not drafting Jermaine Johnson, passing over him twice, I get it. We certainly recognize the talent that was there, and the Jets got a great haul, and they're in great position today too. I think they're sitting at pick 35 and 38, so they're going to add more young talent to that defense and to that roster. I think the Jets are going to be a dangerous team to deal with as long as they get somewhat conservative or consistent, I should say, quarterback play. But in any case, don't be surprised if the Ravens don't even go edge at 45. Don't be surprised. I think it is less of a need in terms of first and second round picks than a lot of us presumed. In some of the videos that I had done pre-draft, I even mentioned to you that our need at DB and offensive line superseded our need at outside linebacker. And I'm going to start asking people when they say edge what they mean by that. Because do you mean 5 technique in a 3-4 structure, or do you mean 9 technique? So to me, edge defender is an outside linebacker in a 3-4, or it's a D end in a 4-3. We're a 3-4 team. That's what Mike McDonald's going to play. He's going to be in a 3-4 structure against 21 and 12 personnel and 22 personnel, obviously. Against 11 personnel, we're going to be in nickel structure. So we're going to have 2 outside linebackers on the edge, and that would be Bowser and Oweh under our current roster configuration. I think it's very probable that the Ravens look seriously at someone like Josh Pascal, because he can play out on the edge in a 3-4 structure, and he can also play 5 technique in an underfront. So he can play inside the tight end with an outside linebacker outside of him. And if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, I can put up a couple diagrams later on to kind of illustrate that. Because I'll be honest with you, I get a little frustrated when I hear edge so often, because I want to know what position you're talking about in what defense. Are you talking about a 3-4 outside linebacker, or are you talking about a 4-3 DN? Because, again, Mike McDonald's going to play a 3-4. That's what he played at Michigan. And he played a lot of cover, too. I think Kyle Hamilton fits there, to be honest with you, with his length and his agility and ability to read plays and react quickly. And I think Tyler Lindenbaum fits perfectly on this roster, addresses a need, building the offensive line from the inside out. But I am also aware of the fact that it's a legitimate concern by Ravens fans at the receiver position, being as we watched Devin Duvernay last year lose snaps once Bateman and Sammy Watkins were both healthy for that period of time mid-season after Bateman returned in Week 6 against the Chargers. Let me know what you guys think of any of my thoughts and observations, how it compares to what other people are saying. I haven't had the time to really watch any evaluations. I briefly read some ESPN stuff on the Ravens. That's it. I really loved what the Jets did. I think the Eagles did a great job. The Giants, man, two unbelievable talents in Kayvon Thibodeaux and Evan Neal. I think the Texans, I'm a little less than impressed with what the Texans did. I think Trayvon Walker's a really, really fantastic football player. I have no doubt that he'll generate double-digit sacks. I don't know if it'll be in year 1, year 2, or year 3. I think he's a really, really good football player. I think he's better than Jadeveon Clowney over the long term. But I also wonder if he's that elite premier pass rusher that's going to get you 12-plus sacks per season every year. I'm not sure that he is that guy. I'm not sure that Aiden Hutchinson is that guy either, to be honest with you. I think if there's any of those top 3 edges that were taken, the guy who's going to be that guy and get a shit ton of sacks every year is Kayvon Thibodeaux. That's just what I think I see in the limited amount of film that I have watched of them. But I was also a little surprised that the Texans didn't really hit more of a home run. And look, I like Kenyon Green. I really do. I thought the Texans could have done better with the 2 picks they got. I think the Lions hit an absolute home run. In my opinion, I think the best complete 3-4 outside linebacker in this draft is Aiden Hutchinson. I think the most talented guy for the pass rush is Kayvon Thibodeaux. I think he's incredible taking pass drops. I've seen enough film of Kayvon Thibodeaux and his agility and awareness to recognize he's going to be able to take pass drops down into the boundary and be a disruptive player in terms of getting in the windows that quarterbacks want to throw in. Having said that, against the run and rushing the passer, I think Aiden Hutchinson is more complete than both of those 2 guys. And then they got Jamison Williams. To me, Detroit just cleaned up. They cleaned up. Their roster got drastically better. Shocked me and surprised me that the Packers weren't part of those groups trying to trade up. But in any case, man, a fun night, a long night. We had a lot of fun in the Discord. If you were in there, I appreciate you guys. Let me know what you guys hope to see the Ravens do in rounds 2 and 3, if you want them to stick and pick, or if you want them to try to trade up and get some more value in the top 50, 55 players in this draft.